Hi, I'm Dan Smith, and I'm going to teach you how to play Runnin Down A Dream by Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. And this is a great, very simple rock and roll song that requires like a very hard driving kind of beat, and it's got a really rockin' riff, which we'll get into. But in order to do it, you have to play really small, and you got to be really light on your feet in order to kind of sustain the whole groove of it. So I'm going to go through it once through a verse and a chorus and a bridge, and then we're going to break it down piece by piece. But I'm going to try it with a drum beat, which is something I recommend you do. I'm going to go pretty much full speed right away, but you might want to start out a little slower and kind of work your way up gradually. So I'm doing this at 155, and let's just give it a shot. It was a beautiful day, the sun beat down, I had the radio on, I was driving, the trees went by, me and Dell were singing a little runaway, I was flying, yeah, running down a dream. Never would come to me, working on a mystery, going wherever it leads, going running down a dream. Woo! 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 So, that's the basic overview of the song. There's very simple chords. We're going to start with just an E chord, right? But here's the thing. You're not playing the whole E chord. You're just playing the top two strings with up and down strokes, right? And these up and down strokes are basically eighth notes, right? That beat that you heard, right? Hear that hi-hat sound, the little cymbal? Those are eighth notes. That's what you want to do on your strum. You gotta be really small, just your 6th and 5th strings. So you're gonna play that E until you get to the line, I had the radio on, right? So it was a beautiful day, the sun beat down, I had the radio on, and on the syllable of radio, that's when you change to D, and you just play the 4th and 3rd strings. Radio on. And then on I was driving, on the word drive, you go back to E. I was driving. And then you do that whole sequence again. The trees flew by. Me and Dell were singing. Little runaway, on the word run, you change to D. Runaway. I was, and on the word fly, flying, you go back to E. That's the verse. Now the chorus is A, G, E, right? And those go, like many Tom Petty songs, goes right on the words. So, running down a dream. And then you just do the same thing in reverse. E, G, A. Never would come to me. Right? So on come you go to G, on me you go to A. And then you do the same thing, that you just repeat that whole sequence. Working on a mystery. This is a little, for those of you trying to sing and play at the same time, this is how you can get started doing it. You start to match up the words with the chord changes. And it's a great song to do it with. Working on a mystery, going wherever it leads, Yeah, running down a dream. Now, you might have noticed I was playing on the chord changes, I was just playing the 5th and 4th strings for A, the 6th and 5th strings for G and E. But then once I got to E, I did this little strum. Up, down, up, down, up, down on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd string. So it creates a little contrast, a little dimension to your song, right? You do the same thing on the A, just the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd string. But what it means is you got to strum smaller. You got to strum more precisely, which is a really good way to become a better guitar player. Because, you know, what you're really trying to do is create the illusion that there's more than one guitar being played when there's only one. Okay, so now, let's get to the fun part, which is the riff, right? Now, here's the key to that riff. You have to start on an up strum, on an open string, open 6th string, right? Then your ring finger goes down on the 7th fret on a down strum. And then you play another up strum on an open string. Then you go down with your 2nd finger on the 6th fret. And then open again. And then down on the 5th fret with your index finger. So up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And then 6th string 3rd fret with your index finger. Down, right? So whenever you're putting a finger down, you're doing a down strum. Whenever you're playing an open string, you're doing an up strum. All right, that's one time through. Now, if you want to do that more constantly the way I was doing it, what you really got to work on is this. Just doing very simple up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down strums on just your open 6th string. I highly recommend you do this with a drum beat. So let's try it a little slower so you can get a sense of like how you can work on that. So that's a little slower. That's 120. Maybe that's too fast for you. Start at 60. You know, start real slow. 60 might be too slow. Let's try 74. It is possible that sometimes going slower is harder because it spreads things out too much and it's kind of hard to get the totality of it, you know. However, that's the riff. But there's one other part, which is the woo-woo part, which I did in 2 different ways. Starts on C, and I'm just doing up and down strums, the woo. And then if you're doing the Tom Petty version, you go to D, woo, for the second woo-woo, and then you go back to E, woo. You can throw in a riff there, but if you're doing the Dan Smith version, then you take your C chord, woo, you slide it up 2 frets. It's the same shape, right? But now I've taken this C and I moved it up to what is, I'm not sure what this chord is. Some form of a D. If you figure out what chord it is, put it in the comments. Let me know. I think it's like a D add 9, add 11 maybe. But you let me know. That's not what Tom Petty does. I just think it sounds cool. By the way, another good thing to keep in mind about this riff, if you play way back by your bridge, it cuts through a lot better. And if you're playing on an electric guitar, put your pickup setting all the way back, then you get some real twanginess out of it and it'll really cut through. So, that's Runnin' Down a Dream. It's a great song for working on rhythm because you really have to stay true to the beat, because if you're not locked into that beat, this song doesn't really work. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.